Okay, now we're going to work on solving morphology problems. Remember we looked at solving some phonology problems last time? This is going to be morphology problems, and pretty much the same principles will apply. So let's take a look at Zapotec now. Okay, this is Isma's Zapotec, and what we need to find is the stem, the possessive morpheme, the third person singular, the second person plural, allomorphs for tortilla, chicken, and rope, and the conditioning environment for the allomorphs. The conditioning environment means why is it that these have two different forms? Just as with the phonology problems, what we do is we organize our data so that we can see the similarities and to see if we can focus and isolate what it is that we're looking for. So in the first column, you see this is basically the stems. So you could see palu, kuba, tapa, geta, bere, and do'o, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing them right, but that's the first column. In the second column, we see that there's both a prefix that's been added, the s sound, and we also see that there's a be that's been added, a suffix. Now the question here is which one is the possessive and which one is the person marker and person and plural markers. So what we need to do to make up our minds here is to look at the third column. In the second column, we see that there's both a prefix that's been added, the s sound, and we also see that there's a be that's been added, a suffix. Now the question here is which one is the possessive and which one is the person marker and person and plural markers. So what we need to do to make up our minds here is to look at the third column. When we look at the third column, the one with the your, which is the second person plural, we see that there is the s prefix as well, but then there's a lu suffix. Okay, what does this tell us? That most likely the possessive is the s prefix, because that is what's common to both of them. So we're looking for the possessive, and we see that the s prefix is on the second and the third column. We see that there is the be suffix is for his, it indicates his, which is the third person singular. And then we see the lu, which shows up at the end of words, it's a suffix, and it shows up for the second person plural. So we can make the hypothesis that the possessive is the genitive is marked with the prefix s, that the second person plural is marked with a lu suffix, and that the third person singular is marked with the be suffix. Now let's look at the allomorphs, and we were given the three words tortilla, chicken, and rope. And what we can see in the first column, that is just the stem, and we can see that the word begins with a voiced consonant, g, b, and d. If we look with the prefix s, we notice that the consonant has become unvoiced. What does that remind you of? Remember way back when we talked about dogs and cats, that we've got the plural suffix, but that it's a s after the t of cats, and that it's a z after the g of dogs, that there's assimilation going on. Well, here it's the same thing, except that the stem is assimilating to the prefix, in the affix, instead of, as in English, the affix assimilating to the stem.